I have a problem. I'm a perfectionist. Help me, please. Welcome to Jotunheim Whispers. Yay! Hello! Hello! So nice to see you here or hear you here. I am frostjotun and I am a composer, a musician, an artist, a poet, a writer, and a performer. I think that's it. Also, I bake, if you're interested in that. And I stream on Twitch. Roast Jotun Live! Yeah, check it out. So, I have a problem, and it bothers me literally every single day of my life. The problem is, well, I'm a perfectionist and I work in art, which are the things that kinda are connected because you have to care about your work. But here is the thing, I am too jealous, and it sucks. It sucks so much. Guys, literally, like, you are not supposed to be jealous of people that work with you in, your own society. I mean, we are working in the same environment. We all have the same goal, to be creative, to be positive about our work, to, help each other. But then why does this happen every time that I see a talented artist or a talented musician? I want to kill myself. I want to tear my skin from my body, and I want to cut my head off. Like, what's up with that? um I don't know. In another episode, I have already talked about being raised in a weird environment, which is, classical music stuff, where literally any other musician is your competitor. And so everything is a competition for you, and you're supposed to be the best. And if you're not the best while you are a child, then you are a failure, and so on. Now, what do you do with it? I have no idea, especially since I've got OCD. And so I guess, I guess, uh, like, I am trying to work on myself, right? Whenever I see a talented artist on TikTok, I try to leave like positive comments. I support them and stuff. I follow some, but then the moment I start thinking, I just think like, Jesus, I suck so badly. I am such an untalented person with no future, because they, like, look at their work, like, it's incredible, it's amazing, and what am I doing? Like, oh my god. Especially it happens with violin, because it's like one of the hardest instruments, and whenever you see a good violinist perform a piece that you cannot play normally, it kinda makes you sad. Yes. And so perfectionism is really harmful for any artist whatsoever. But is there really a way to get rid of it? I don't think so. I am afraid that because of the way a lot of us are raised, it's almost impossible to change it, the way that we think, the way that we perceive art. Like, I don't know. How can you stop comparing yourself to others? How can you do that? Is it recording? Yes, it is. Sorry. Um, I don't know. And sometimes I have days when I'm like, oh, I have created so much. Oh, I have so many digital paintings. Oh, here are the paintings I have that are in my room currently. Here are the things I made with my own hands. And here is so much music I have written, stuff like that. But then there are days when it's like, okay, I still suck. And look at this artist. They have like thousands of followers. And technically on TikTok, I have thousands of followers, but I'm gonna be honest with you. They are from 2020. So in 2020, I started like making TikToks in a the Riddler costume, right? Cosplay. And so that's where they came from. If it really counted, since I started posting my art, I think I would have about 100 followers max. Like, uh, I don't have many followers. Like, and there are a couple people that know me, like that are really following me, and yeah. So it's kind of sad. I just decided to not make another account to start off from a point of having some audience, although it's not my audience anymore. I'm not sure that those people are like not dead accounts, you know? And so, yeah, whenever I see anyone with a audience, I get so jealous and I feel this toxicity, and it is so scary for an artist, especially because you have to be thinking about your work, about your art, not about comparing yourself to other people. That is literally your job, to be your unique self. You have to consider that. And yet I cannot stop. I cannot stop comparing myself to those artists. Yeah. And even being aware of it does not help. I mean, how do I fix it? No idea. Why am I doing this episode? Okay, now I'm having a crisis and I do apologize. So, um, yeah, I just became a little sad at the moment, just thinking about the fact that I cannot control my emotions in that area. So, so, so. So let's change the topic. How about that? Jesus, sorry. I guess I wasn't really prepared for this episode. I do apologize. Let me just, you know, well, I could talk a little bit more about my perfectionism, I guess, which is really tough on me because, well, for example, I've had a period of time that lasted for a week when I just literally I would start in the morning and I would end in the night. I would clean out everything, like each cupboard, each like nook and cranny. I would organize it and stuff like that. I spent so much energy and I gave so much time to that. And so anytime something is not in its place, I become so angry, but I am not an angry person, so I keep it to myself, which hurts me physically. Like, I feel like there is a bruise in my chest, and sometimes it also feels like something sharp is hitting that bruise. So that's fun. That's really, really fun. That's incredible. And I have this perfectionism about anything else in art, which really limits your opportunities to grow, and to develop your skills, because you're supposed to be free in your style, right? And if you're trying to make every line perfect, like every move, every note, every sound to be as good as you imagine it to be, you are just going to be disappointed all the time. That is the unfortunate truth about any type of art, especially music, in my opinion. Again, I'm not speaking on behalf of anyone, but I think that, even if you practice every day for hours, if you do that with like one single piece, if you learn it to the core, um, there is still no guarantee that you will play it perfectly. And that is so unfair that, uh, I mean, sometimes it kills the motivation to keep going, to be honest. When for example, I've been learning like this Bach piece on violin for a year, and still I am not able to play it perfectly. And I struggle with the first chord, so it's just a problem for me a lot of the times, like almost all of the time, is that the first note for me is the most difficult part, because I'm afraid that I will start producing the sound with a bad quality. You cannot be scared of art, and I know that, but I cannot fix it because I am trying to be perfect in in this way. So I mean, this is insane. This is why teaching young kids art like the right way is so important, because we were yelled at, we were called awful things, we were like physically harassed while we were playing. So we couldn't appreciate art, we couldn't learn how to embrace the sound of your instrument, we weren't taught how to feel each note. We didn't know that. The only thing we knew was fear of making a mistake, and not because you would like spoil a piece, or your performance wouldn't be wonderful. No, because we were scared of our teachers, because we knew that if you make a mistake, then you go out of the hall where you are performing, and there would be your teaching saying, you know what, you suck, you play like a cow on ice, and you should have practiced more. And like, I am saying it angrily, but they would yell. And I remember I was in fourth grade when I was supposed to perform a piano piece on a concert, and my teacher wanted me to play one piece, but I wanted to play another. And I learned it, like I knew it, I memorized it, I practiced it, obviously. Like, I am a very responsible person, you have to understand it, that I'm not lying about working on art. Like, I'm doing it constantly, every day. I'm working, I promise. And so I worked then, And during the performance, something happened to my brain, and it just got like confused, and so I had to kind of stop for a second and start from not from the beginning, but from like one like other bar. And that kind of was it, like that's all that happened. But I was so terrified because before that my teacher told me, if you fail, you cannot come back to my classroom again. And I would consider that, except for the fact that I left my things there. So I was supposed to go back. And so I just remember like she was in the hall where I performed. And I remember her walking out with me. I remember the look in her eyes. And like she said something of the sort of, I told you you shouldn't have played this piece. Like, don't come back to the classroom, something like that. And so I just, I took my things and left. So yeah, that's the environment we are raised raised in. And so of course, like, if you teach me that that's how I'm supposed to behave and think, now I will be jealous of anyone who is better than me or who is just simply successful, because I'm not. Yeah. Okay. I got a little bit frustrated and I feel like my head is shaking a little bit from the distress of remembering that concert. Honestly, that happened only one time. After that, like, I put myself in such a condition in my brain that you know I would be like, okay, you are not allowed to make any mistakes, and you cannot stop for a moment. You have to keep going and keep going and keep going, and that is it. And I mean, yes, it is some training. You are supposed to have that skill in you to kind of, I guess, know that you are not supposed to um, ever stop while you are performing. It's kind of, I think, also an improv rule, right? Um, but when you are a small child and that's how you live every day, what do you think is going to happen when you grow up? Like, who do you think you will become if that's what you experience on the daily? That is terrifying to think about, don't you think? That, you know, all of the children in so many countries are like me. Oh my God. Yes, this is. So the point of it, of the story, I guess, is that, if you are young and you have awful teachers, if you have, like, if your parents are supportive, or um, if they love you, like, share it with them, because I never did, because I blamed myself for everything. And also I didn't even know I could share. I was, I guess, scared. I even had a a thing happen when I was in first grade, where there were people from, I think they were in 10th grade, so they were like adults for us, and they started bullying my classmate. And again, we were like 6 years old at the time, and I saw that, and I, like, came over, and I told them, don't touch her, don't hurt my friend. Well, they didn't touch her, actually, they just were laughing at her. So I was like, don't laugh at her, like, she is good, and stuff like that. So again, with my autistic justice importance and stuff. And so what happened next was kind of funny to me to think about. I still remember that, although I don't have a lot of memories from my childhood. So this dude from 10th grade, who was huge, I guess, he took me by my clothes, and he like grabbed me, and I was in the air for a second, and then he threw me on the floor, and I remember I like flew into a grand piano, so my head was uh, kind of bumped into a piano that was in the corridor. And I remember the feeling of flying, right? I remember then opening my eyes, lying on the floor, and like this dude was just standing there looking at me arrogantly, I would say. And all of his classmates were there, and they didn't say anything. And so I think in that moment, my autistic brain told me that, okay, okay, you have to act like you are fine. So they will think that you are a strong person, and so they will be proud of you. And so you can just smile and say that everything is okay. And I didn't tell it to my mom, I guess, because then I told her the story and she was surprised. But like my whole life, anytime anyone would hurt me, I would never share it, I guess, because I would feel just guilty for some reason. So that's the thing about me and the way I behave. I don't know how that is connected to our topic here. I don't know. I have lost my train of thought. And so, how long has it been? Okay, we can stop now. Thank you for listening to Jotunheim podcast, Jotunheim Whispers, Jotunheim podcast. The hell. Um, it was me, frostjotun, talking to you about some of my experiences, and you can look me up on Instagram, on TikTok, anywhere. You can find my music, my art, my handmade things. I can also bake if you are in Ukraine and stuff. So, um, for any artist out there, I am here, I am with you. I hope we can support each other and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I guess this is it. I'm very hungry, and so I'll see you next Friday. Bye! Bye bye! Bye! Bye!